Hello everyone, my name is Eric Jones and we are in the final video for the course entitled Site Inventory and Analysis. And what you see here on my drafting table in the studio is the, first of all, the site survey that you can download off the Moodle site in a PDF. It is entitled Lot 313 Site Survey. So we have that here. I actually took the survey and sketched it a little bit easier for us to read on notebook paper with the domain dimensions, the line orientation, the line distance of the property lines, and the house measurements, and then sketched in a rough driveway. Now, granted, the pictures that you had seen on Moodle, the driveway and sidewalk has already been poured, but we're going to actually pretend that this house is not fully complete. It is a new house construction. So as the irrigation contractor or irrigation designer, landscape contractor, landscape designer, any of us may have been pulled in early to go ahead and do a plan and drawing. So again, I went ahead and took the site survey, sketched it on notebook paper size or copy paper for me to keep in a notebook or file folder. But our site survey or preliminary plat, again called preliminary because it's done by the surveyor, got this out of the job site box. Good information there, and I was able to, from that information, go ahead and blow up a 18 by 24 drawing of the property. Now granted, there's not much room for title block or borders in here, but remember, site inventory and analysis is going to be completed right after the client consultation. We're actually, hopefully, when we sit down at the kitchen table with the clients, we're actually going to be able to take this and lay on the kitchen table and go over it. So, kind of a quick review. We have our client consultation. We've sent out our questionnaire, got that information back. We've asked the client, do they have a preliminary plat or site survey? This happened to be new house construction, so one was done. It was in the job site box. Met the clients on site. Talked to them about the plant materials that they wanted, so we are ready to move into site inventory and analysis. Now, granted, this should be done on site prior to sitting down at the kitchen table, but we're going to do it here at the drafting table. We have the pictures. I know the property well, and I'm graphically just going to show you how we should complete the site inventory and analysis. Now, once you've seen this video, there will be the 10-question quiz on Moodle, and that will get you credit for 2 hours of CEUs if you pass the test or quiz with a 70 or above. Now, all of these drawings again are on Moodle. I will take a picture of this before and after to put on Moodle. The before is you might be able to open this up and print it out on your computer, actually on the 8.5 by 11, or you could do it on this size to practice doing some of the what I call rendering or graphically representing the site inventory and analysis. Now, this is one of my favorite things to do as a design professional because I get to use markers that we have here. You can use markers, colored pencils, or anything of that nature. Sharpies, colored Sharpies. I do have my scale here. I have some trash paper in case I want to mess, lay over it and kind of get some ideas. I have my architect scale because we have drew this in 1/8 scale. And I have a triangle, 2 triangles actually, that we'll be able to use, and I'm just going to set these to the side right now. Also, when I'm doing the site inventory and analysis, ladies and gentlemen, I have a Pentel pencil, Pentel sign pen, a thin Sharpie, and I have a wide tip Sharpie. So these are the tools that I will use for the site inventory and analysis. Now, one of the things that we noticed in our lecture, one of the big things that we want to note is circulation. We want to know vehicular circulation, and we want to know pedestrian or secondary circulation. So we're just going to, first thing, right off the bat, go ahead and note where our circulation paths are, and we can do it with any type of color markers. I like the chart packs. Also use a lot of the Prismacolor markers, but actually, really get into the colors with these markers. And actually, I have a lot of fun doing this. So I'm trying to pick out some easy colors. We'll actually see how wet these markers are. Sometimes they dry out, and it's a good thing. What I'm seeing on Instagram, the other social media sites, is that the design professionals are going back to doing a lot of hand rendering with markers, and I love seeing that. Love seeing that. So, real quick and simple, guys. It took me 5 minutes to blow this up from this information right here. I blew this plan up. We do have a 3-hour course on Moodle entitled Creating the Site Plan, and if you've taken that, you'll know how to get to this really quick and easy. So back to our circulation. Again, just fat arrows all the time, just doing it like that. Now, we've done that with marker, and I like to take my Sharpies and I like to go over it. Again, it just depends whether or not you're going to show the client. I like showing the client, plus I like my stuff looking real snazzy. So I outline it. I'll outline it twice. Once with the big Sharpie, and then I'm going to come back with the thin Sharpie and just kind of pop it. Makes the client think that I've spent a lot of time actually doing this, and you see how quick we are. But I've noted our primary circulation in and out of the driveway. And we need to see that. We need to see that. When I first saw this property, there was no driveway. We saw the foundation of the house, and we knew where the corners and the property lines were, but I didn't know where this was going to be. We could have really laid this driveway out possibly a different way. But we didn't. All right, let's go ahead and do some secondary. Well, we know by the pictures that we already have a sidewalk. So we're going to have our little arrows. Again, this could be really a little bit different, however we wanted it. Let's say that the sidewalks aren't there, and we're going ahead and like, well, we've got the driveway here, we've got a sidewalk that's going over to the driveway. Maybe we want to do something like this too. Have that on the street parking. And again, gonna pop it real quick by outlining it. I love doing this. It just really pops, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes I'll even get a white colored pencil and actually put a little color on it in the middle as well. So again, our site inventory and analysis, we're working on circulation, visually representing what's there. Outline again. And some of you may not want to ever do it like this. I'm just showing you how I was taught in undergraduate and how we continue to do it. And I love the fact that landscape architects, any of the designs are coming back with the markers. That's all we used to do in school. And then everybody got to using, Adobe and all that stuff. But, hand rendering is coming back. And I am so grateful for that. Now, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Go back and look at the pictures. What other types of circulation should we want? We know that there's a deck right there. There's a deck right there. So what we want to do is show the deck. Let's go ahead and show that we have a deck. And I'm thinking, I'm just going to draw it as a colored box. I'm going to color it in. Now, we will want some steps to get around to the deck. I about need a new little Sharpie, so let me grab that. Luckily we have a ton in the studio. So there is a deck. So, one thing that I noticed in the pictures, that there was no secondary circulation to get back there. So where do you think would be a good place to get around to that? Well, we know that the steps come off on this side, so let's have some steps that go to the deck from the driveway. So guys, you can get, Sharpies at any office store. This paper I'm drawing on, you can get it in an office supply store. The markers, you may have to get online unless you have a... and we were talking about the markers. The markers you may have to get online from an online art store, or if you have a local art store. But again, the markers are Chart Pack and Prismacolor. And I also like using color pencil, but not for the site inventory and analysis, because I like doing them quick and easy. All right, so we've got our circulation completed. Now, I do want to apologize. I'm actually having to record these videos in little short segments, doing it with the GoPro here. So we've got our circulation done. We've got our deck marked. Now, what would be good out here? Got views coming out to the street. We know there's some houses over there. So maybe with the dining room being right here, maybe let's have a focal point. Let's do a nice focal point for our client right here. And we're just going to mark it with a star that we're going to represent with. Now, I like planting in ones and I like planting in odd numbers, ones and threes and fives. So maybe to balance this right here, we pull one out and do another one. Now, I know that the garage is here, but we do have bedrooms and stuff out here. So we can represent that. Basically just having a focal point out the dining room. Now, if some of you are licensed LAs, you may do this different. You may have been to a different design school or completely doing it in CAD. But I still love CAD, but I still am going to do this. One, it just helps me in the design process. So, we've got that there. We need some shrubs around the front. So let's add us some of that there. Some shrubs. Then we're going to, depending on whether it's new house, existing house, denote whether or not we want to keep it or remove it. And being a new construction, being a builder may have threw their stuff in there, you may want to actually dig it up and move it, or incorporate it, or do totally something new. Again, you guys are the designers. I'm showing you just how to take what's there and represent it for the client. Sometimes I'll actually write it, you know, what's in there. Let's just say Hollies. Now, we did know that if you look at the pictures, that there is a very, very nice feature in the back of this property. And what we may want to do is to enhance something, or have an area that the client may want to keep. So what about some views? Go back and look at your pictures if you don't see what I'm talking about. You may have to look out that upstairs window. And it sets off a little bit to the back. It's not exactly right there. We want to keep that view open. And I'll go ahead and tell you, it's a nice little pond back here. But you want to be able to keep that view, especially off the deck. The kitchen's right here. You want to keep that open. Now, you got some nice woods going along the back here. So I'd say even keep my views this way. Now, your client may not like that pond, so you might want to have to screen it for them. Don't know why they wouldn't, but they may not want to look at it. Any body of water I want to look at. So I'm keeping my views open. Now, we may have some nosy neighbors back here that we don't like. We're going to be entertaining on our property here, so we may want to screen them out. We're still going to keep that view open to the pond, and we may want to screen out our neighbors here, or do some type of planting. Again, we're keeping our views open to the natural wood line and the pond that sits right back here. Again, outline it, popping it. And I love the smell of these Chartpak markers. Remember when I was an undergrad, my senior year, they took us to a bunch of design studios. We went to a place in Charlotte that the entire kitchen of the house was used for rendering plans with the markers. And the smell in there was so good. You knew that that was a professional landscape architecture office getting the job done. Again, I'm going to pop it, outline it. This just helps to visually zazz it or add a little to it. My students at the college, just make sure the video is still going. The students at the college want to know where I learned to draw. I told them, practice, practice. There's another Sharpie out. But practice makes, I wouldn't say perfect, I won't call this perfect, but I do like the way it starts to look. And when I render a plan, either with markers or pencils, I love it. So, we've got some screening, we've got our views, we've got our circulation, we've got some focal points that we want to add here. You know, some color, maybe some purple leaf plums, represented with a color. Well, what's another thing? We need to get people down to the pond. So again, we need to explain that to the client. Again, we are being hired to solve people's problems. And again, what does site inventory and analysis do, ladies and gentlemen? We take inventory. What is fact? What is there? So, the one things that are there, we have good views. Take an inventory of it. So what do we want to do? We want to keep those views open. We got a pond down there. We need to get access to the pond. We have a deck. We need to get access to the deck from around to from the front, from front to the back. Sometimes mama may not want people tracking through the house to get to the deck if it's little Billy Bob's party. So we're helping her out with that. Again, quick. Now, guys, I am representing this with color. There is nothing wrong with being on site and doing this completely in Sharpie and felt tip pen. It doesn't necessarily have to be color. In fact, I'll upload some pictures of things done completely in black and white while you're there on site. So, we've got our traffic, we've got it. Kept our views open. You may want to keep some turf. We may want to add another focal point there. Tell you what, let's do a different color because we want it to be a little bit bigger. All right, focal point there. Not much we can do with driveway there. Again, I'm still just making sure this movie's going. Now guys, we've got about probably 30 minutes into this. Again, I'm explaining to you, so it's taking a little bit longer. When we're walking around site, we should be doing this a lot quicker. The big clipboard, and again, these two items right here. The Sharpie and the Pentel sign pen should all we need for that. And it depends on what you want to explain to the client. Again, we're taking inventory. What is fact? Now, our analysis is that we are the designers. So, we know that the lake's here, so what do you think is going to be right here? I can almost guarantee you that we are going to have, a low spot. And we have a low marker. So if we have a low spot, we got some other different types of plant materials that we could use in this area. So again, a lot of this should be full, the entire paper should be full of ideas and inventory. Guys, this is site inventory and analysis. I do like to name the drawing, so we will pick out a color for that. We can do it in multiple colors. And again, we would want to trace it and make it pop. Again, please don't think that you have to do this for every property. It can be done with Sharpie all the way. I don't have an issue with that at all. It depends on, does the client paying you to do this? Well, you'll know that pretty quick with the client interview. I love being able to color every single day of my life. Now, guys, I would be doing this if a client is paying me, top notch for the design. Commercial design, yes, you'd be doing the graphics. Residential, maybe not. So, finishing up our title. Do the client's name like this as well. They like seeing that. Add some texture, more with the marker. bleed it in, it pops it more. Just like over there. All right. So, again, guys, if you have any questions on this, feel free to always shoot me an email, question, voicemail. Guys, what I'm doing, I'm just kind of thickening. Popping it just a tad more, adding more color. You can do that with each element on the plan. As you can see, it pops it. So, anyway, we will wrap up this lecture. Please take the quiz at the end. Practice doing some just symbols like this, and you guys would be able to do your site inventory analysis. Guys, thanks for taking this course. Let me know what you think. Follow me on all the social media: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat at Turf Teacher. Thanks, and I hope you guys have a great day.